Hey guys, thank you so much for subscribing to receive these English lessons. I hope that they will be a help to you. I hope that they will be an encouragement to you. I just want to talk to you informally. I want to talk to you personally. My name is Daniel. I want to help you improve your conversational English proficiency. Some of you may be preparing for your English exams, whether in college or for work overseas, maybe Canada, Australia, whatever. These talks, I believe, will be invaluable. I'm not from Canada, but I've spent a lot of time in Canada. I've spent much of my childhood living in a small town in Alaska called Hyder, Alaska, right on the border with Stewart, British Columbia, Canada. You may have fun looking that up. But I'm kind of multicultural, I'm not bilingual. I don't know more than one language. My only language that I know is English. I'm a native English speaker, American citizen. So if you'd forgive me for that, I appreciate that. But I'm not really ashamed. I'm not ashamed to be an American, but I sometimes feel like I need to apologize for some of the behavior of other fellow Americans. But I won't go into that right now. Right now, I will tell you that I am a native English speaker. And if you're looking to improve your English proficiency, just hear me out. Listen to me for these YouTube lessons or Zoom live channels. I wanted to do a Zoom channel, but that's not going to happen this week. This week I have an appointment on Friday night, which is Saturday morning for most of you. And I was planning on doing this first Zoom English class on Friday night, but then I had another appointment and I can't make that live. So what I'm going to do is do this video, make it available on an unlisted link on YouTube. And this is a practice run for me and a practice run for you. So bear with me. You can close this out, not listen to it, and I won't be disappointed. But, a big part of English proficiency is listening skills. A big part of any schooling, as you know, is being able to listen, being able to take notes, being able to just comprehend that which you are hearing. In another language, it's difficult. I know I've been studying the Tamil language, and I've actually even begun to pick up some conversational Arabic, but that's little conjum shwai shwai in Arabic. Little bit by little bit, I think we can build our proficiency in other languages through listening. Listening is probably the most important language learning skill. The speaking is good. Many times people say, what's the trick? I want an American accent and I want to learn it today. You're not going to learn an American accent or another native English speaking country accent. You're not going to learn how to speak like you're from Australia. If you don't live in Australia and take in English contextually, in Singapore, they speak, there's 4 languages in Singapore. There's Mandarin Chinese, there's Malay, related to the Indonesian language, Malaysian. There is Tamil, Tamil. That's a third, and then there's English, which is actually known as Singlish. It's Singapore English. Singapore English is a valid dialect of English. It's just another dialect. And in Singapore, they may use the different confluence of language and cultures to adapt a new accent, a new dialect. But it's completely legitimate. Many people from India or Sri Lanka, they will tell me after beginning a conversation, they'll say, how can I improve my English? Give me some tricks so I can learn Native American slang, for instance. And, there's no tricks. A contextual listening is probably the best way. Hearing an American speaking in context and that's going to help you improve your English. And that's what these YouTube or Zoom classes are going to be all about. Whether if I can do them live on YouTube or live on Zoom, I'm thinking that Zoom might not be the best platform because it's kind of inconvenient. People have to download an app, and where YouTube, all they have to do is have the link. So we might just go live on YouTube. And I'll share that YouTube link around, and every Saturday morning, whether if you're in India or if you're in Thailand or if you're in Sri Lanka or you're in Dubai, wherever you are, I think Friday evening for me, as long as I'm over here in the US and Alaska, Canada, it's going to just work out well for me. Friday is normally a free time for me. I often spend Saturday preparing for my lectures on Sunday. I'm a Bible teacher. I'll be upfront with you right now with that. Just let you know that my interest is things dealing with the Bible, things dealing with abstract conversations. There are questions that all of us face, no matter what your worldview is, no matter how you think, no matter how you look at life, no matter how you interpret that which you hear through the lens of your own culture or your own worldview. We all face the same questions. Where did I come from? Who am I? My identity. Where did I come from? My origin. Who am I? My identity. Where am I going? Why am I here? My purpose. What's right and wrong? These questions of morality, identity, origin, destiny. Is there an afterlife? I mean, is there... Like in Hinduism, there's karma. In Buddhism, there's nirvana. In Islam, there's paradise. In Christianity, there's heaven. Where am I going after this life? Is there an afterlife? Some people are atheists. They don't believe in an afterlife. But these questions are very, very important to me. And the way I'm going to do these English lessons is what we call content and language integrated learning. It's not necessarily always going to be formal. Many times it's just going to be me talking to you, talking to the camera, allowing for a certain amount of interaction in the comment section. I'll reply to that. But content and language integrated learning is basically this. You learn English in context, and I will teach you and talk to you about what I want to talk about. And if you're not interested in hearing what I've got to talk about or my ideas, that's fine. Find another YouTube channel, just listen to English, build your proficiency, and go on and do what you're going to do. These are the things that I want to talk about, and I'll try to help you with those topics. I'll post these videos, these private videos on Hello Talk. Feel free, if you see this video on Hello Talk, send me your email. I'll put your email on the list, and I'll send out these videos. You can also contact me at my email, which is GR, the number 8, and then the word pardon, PARDON @gmail.com. So that's GR, the number 8, PARDON @gmail.com. So that's greatpardon @gmail.com. Just send me an email or send me a message on Hello Talk. Send me your email, and I'll put you on the list, and you can also be a part of this weekly conversation. We're going to just try to go for a few minutes and just talk about things that are near and dear to my heart. And when I say near and dear to my heart, that means things that matter to me. My wife, she is nearest and dearest to my heart. My God, Jesus is near and dear to me. My work is near and dear to me. I teach the Bible. I love this. This is what is interesting to me. And so those things which are most interesting to me, my hobbies, it'll just be kind of like a fireside chat, but most of the time I won't have a fireside to be with. Right now I'm just in a small apartment room and just talking to you about just a few random things, so bear with me, please. So what would be a good topic for us to talk about? You feel free to email me a topic. I don't necessarily have to pick up your topic, but I'd love to hear your take on this little talk. But right now, I would just kind of like to turn the conversation to something a little bit more substantive. You know, if you're taking a test, if you just want to pick up some cultural proficiency, sometimes the best thing is to read the news, to listen to the news, to just hear what's going on. And you're going to get my take on the coronavirus, COVID-19, the China virus, whatever you want to call it. I prefer, coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever. And we'll also talk about the current events, the riots among the African American community in the United States, and how that, kind of, I believe, relates one to another, and what that actually means about ourselves. And I don't know. Let's just talk about it. So first of all, the coronavirus. What is it? Where did it come from? Why is it here? And what's going on? I don't know. But I'll give you my opinion. My opinion about COVID-19. I believe that the World Health Organization is very, very close with China. This is, you could call it a conspiracy. A conspiracy just means two people get together and they've got a plot or a ploy or a plan to do something. Maybe something good, maybe something bad. Most of the time the word conspiracy has a bad idea with it, or a bad connotation with it, a connection. But I will believe, and this is not a developed conspiracy, I haven't really heard it formalized or solidified in someone else's mind, but I've heard bits and pieces, and basically this is what I think. Threats are real. The coronavirus is a real sickness. Many people are dying. I don't deny that at all. But I think that this crisis is being manipulated by governments to seize power. Authoritarian or strong-armed people with leadership positions are sometimes making authority grabs. I am so thankful for our governments, our presidents, our parliaments, whatever form of government you have. I know in Thailand they have a kingdom. In India you have a president. You've got a regional state. The Bible even tells us to thank God for our governments and obey them just as much as we can. But it doesn't mean we can't have our eyes open and know what's going on in the world around us. And so this coronavirus, it's I don't know how it is in your countries. I've talked to some of you about this. But I think that people need to be able to work. I mean, I believe God created man. He put him in a perfect environment. Man corrupted his environment. And because of man's sin, because of his corruption, he lost his ability to relate to God spiritually. He lost his ability to relate to others and even to himself in horizontal and introspective relationships. Psychologically, we lost our ability to relate. Personality-wise, we lost our ability because we're corrupt. We're sinners. This is our problem. But also, we lose our ability to relate to our environment. There's certain aspects where man, because of his corruption, he will be a bad steward of the earth and a bad steward of the environment. And this is not good. Man, I'm not a humanist. I'm a Bible-believing Christian, and I believe that because of our own corruption, we've lost our vertical relationship with God, our spiritual connection. And because that we've lost that spiritual connection, we've also lost our horizontal relationships to other men and women and other people in society and corrupted it. We're corrupt, and we've also lost our ability to relate to other people. But one of the most important things that any of us could do is as especially men is to be able to go out and work. And when our governments tell us that we can't work, what are we supposed to do? God did not make us to stay home and do nothing and watch YouTubes like you're doing right now. That's not what we're supposed to do for the rest of our life. I think God made us to go out in nature and enjoy the sunshine and just enjoy his beautiful creation. And when a man, I can't speak for women, but when a man can't work, I'm a man, so I got to speak for how I see it. I like to have my fingers in the dirt and plant things. I'm a gardener. I planted a garden for 13 years straight. From the time I was 11 on until last year. I planted a garden every year. I love to get my fingers dirty. And I would plant a seed in the ground because in Alaska we get lots of snow. And that snow would cover the ground. And it would be, 4 meters, 12 feet of snow on the ground. And I wanted to plant. Here it would be April, coming on springtime in the northern hemisphere. And it's time to plant, but the snow's not gone yet. It's May, and there's still over a meter of snow. And what I would do is I would dig down to the dirt, and I would try to find some dirt. And I would take the dirt and throw it on the snow, and the sun would melt the snow faster after I put that dark dirt all over the top of the snow and made the snow very dirty. And then the sun would absorb, the dirt on top of the snow would absorb the sun's heat, the energy, the light energy from the sun, and that dirt would actually help melt the snow, so that by the middle of June, all the snow would be gone, sometimes by the middle of May, depending on how much snow we had. And I could get my hands dirty, I could plant some seeds in the ground and see a return. That brought a great deal of satisfaction to me. It's the way I was raised, in a very conservative Christian home. I didn't have video games, I didn't have too many movies. We only watched documentaries. I was a very sheltered individual, and I thank God for that. I thank God that I was taught by my parents the value of hard work and the satisfaction that can bring. And we can see the fruitfulness of working hard. We see peas and carrots and broccoli and cabbage and potatoes and beets in the summer, and we could can those in the fall and see a return. But in places like the state of Michigan, for instance, the governor, her name is Gretchen. Governor Gretchen, she is actually told at a time, she said during the coronavirus, people can't even go fishing. They can't buy paint. You can buy paintbrushes, but you can't buy paint. You can't paint your houses. You can't mow your lawns. You can't plant your gardens because of the quarantine. I think this is ridiculous. I think this is an overreach of the socialist, humanist, globalist governments in the world trying to strip away fundamental human rights in the name of the coronavirus. I think there are certain overreaches even in the United States. And here's some of my reasoning. When people, especially men, don't have hard work to do, some sort of physical work and exercise, if they're stripped of all of those opportunities, and you can't go out and plant a garden, you can't go out and exercise because of quarantine restrictions and what's that word? Anyways, when people can't go outside, so when there's curfew, that's the word, curfew, that makes difficult. It makes life difficult. When you can't go out fishing, when you can't earn an honest living, even in the United States, they're actually giving people money for staying home. The government is giving money, but this strips men of their dignity. It strips us of our ability to go out and work an honest job. And believe it or not, we would rather go out and work for wages. We'd rather go out and plant a garden than have someone give us broccoli, cauliflower, potatoes, all these food. I'd rather go out and work for it than someone give it to me. Maybe it's my pride. Maybe it's my dignity. Sometimes charity can destroy dignity. And, I think it's very important that we don't let that happen. In America, we're blessed. God has blessed our nation, I believe, with abundant prosperity. But I think that may change because America is not very thankful for the prosperity that she enjoys. And because we're not thankful, we become vain. We become, unthankfulness and discontentment leads to resentment for other blessings God has given, like freedom. And when we don't value our freedom and we're not thankful for freedom and prosperity, then we'll lose it. We'll lose it because we'll not defend it. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be able to have certain liberties, but I'm sad to see them stripped away by our socialist, globalist, humanist government. But at the same time, I thank God for my government. I pray for them, and I pray that we would be able to enjoy the peace, the liberty, the harmony that we've enjoyed to this point. So guys, this is about the coronavirus. But now there's something else which I believe is related. And maybe you've not heard about what's going on here. But there was a young man, his name was George. He was in Texas, I believe. And he was brutally killed by some policemen. Now, I will tell you that George had a criminal history. This policeman, he seemed to be prejudiced, and he killed this man brutally. He kneeled on his neck for 8 minutes, and the man said, "I can't breathe." He was a black man, and the policeman was a white man. And so people were saying he was racist, and maybe he was. I'm not defending the police officer, and I'm not defending George. I think what happened to George was a sad thing. But, anyways, as a result of this, the Black Lives Matter movement has taken off in the United States, and there's been rioting, criminal activity here in the United States. It's sad. Russia, Iran, some of these countries that are not necessarily always friendly to the United States have pointed to the chaos that's happening in the United States of America, and have just been happy to see this, because they're not very happy to see us succeed economically. And when bad happens, you know who your enemies are by who rejoices when a bad thing happens, and who is sorry when a bad thing happens. And, even Jesus said to love your enemies. So putting politics aside, me as a born-again Christian, I'm supposed to love the Iranian, even if he says death to America. I need to actually understand, why is he thinking this? I need to love the Russian. I need to love the Chinese, even if he's a communist. I need to love everyone, because Jesus said, even love your enemies. How much more should we love even our friends? But leaving that aside, we have these riots going on here in the United States. I saw the sheriff, the chief of police in Lake County, Florida. He was giving a speech, and I watched the speech yesterday, and I thought it was great. Basically, he condemned the prejudice. He condemned what this police officer had done to this colored man, this black man named George, who died. This is definitely an atrocity, and we stand in solidarity with George's family. We're sorry this happened, but things like this happen. White people die, black people die, brown people die at the hands of law enforcement every day. I mean, this happens around the world all the time, and it's not necessarily racism. We have a movement called Black Lives Matter. I have many black friends. I want to qualify this statement and this conversation with, I'm not prejudiced, I'm not racist, I don't have any phobes, I'm not afraid of anybody. But this is bad. Here, the black community in the United States have taken the, the word is on the tip of my tongue. The entitlement mentality, the idea that all white people are racist just because something like this happens. The majority of Americans believe that all lives matter. Black lives matter, white lives matter, brown lives matter. If there's pink lives matter. If there's blue lives matter. All lives matter. Because, as it says in our Constitution, that God created all men with certain unalienable rights. Certain rights which cannot be taken away. The right to liberty, prosperity, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the cornerstone of American society. All lives matter. And now we see some of this taken away. It's sad. It's sad. When people have been cooped up in their houses for 2 months, 3 months in some cases, not been able to work. When men aren't able to work, and they don't have access to their church. They don't have access to their network of friends. Mentally, spiritually, physically, they'll begin to degrade. And when a riot happens, they're ready to run for it. They're ready to join right in because they're sick and tired of doing nothing. God didn't make us to do nothing. God made us to work as men, to have fulfillment of our social network, to access the spiritual help that we need. I was so glad when President Trump considered church and synagogues and mosques essential. He said that spiritual help and counsel that these churches and mosques and synagogues provide to their people, it's necessary. I mean, more people are going to die of suicide, and more people are going to suffer of mental problems than are going to die of the coronavirus. I thoroughly believe that. I heard Ben Shapiro, another conservative, he's actually a Jewish man. He said that 150 million people may be put on the brink of starvation because of the quarantine and curfew restrictions in developing countries around the world. You see, Americans and the European lawmakers, they're not going to suffer nearly as much as the developing countries and what they call the third world countries around the world. These lawmakers, these globalists, the World Health Organization, they're not going to suffer. And in fact, the Chinese, we don't know how the coronavirus started. I'm not going to really go too far in this conspiracy to say that Chinese actually made this or that the communist government developed this coronavirus strain. There have been many coronavirus strains in the past, but I will say that it came from China. And China was not very open to what happened. If you study, you can study the Epoch Times, and you can see where they've documented where this coronavirus pandemic was certainly covered up in China. And I don't think that China has done as well as they have claimed to be. They sent all the journalists out of the country. And in fact, China is communistic, right? And so a communist government, actually, such as the one in China, they don't care if the elderly die. They don't care if the vulnerable, those with pre-existing conditions die, because they determine the worth of a human being by what he can do to contribute to the community. And sometimes the elderly and the vulnerable, the sickly, their contribution to society is not appreciated. Their counsel, their social interactions, or their lack thereof, they're not appreciated. And in fact, China has been known to take organs from political dissidents. They've been known to euthanize their elderly. And, I wouldn't be surprised if the communist government in China allowed this to go through their country with a calculated risk, knowing it's going to take out a good portion of their elderly and relieve the burden off their society and really become a threat to the Western world and really wreak havoc here. I'm really not sure about that, but I do know that it has created these problems. The coronavirus quarantines and curfews and social distancing measures that have been in place are probably creating more harm than good. So this is my take on it. And this kind of is, we're coming to the end of our 30-minute lesson. I'd like to keep these lessons at around 30 minutes. But just know that if you have any questions, comments, feel free to send me a message on Hello Talk or some other messenger. Like I said, my email is gr and then the number 8, pardon@gmail.com. Feel free to send me an email, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we send out little videos every now and then. If you subscribe, that'd be cool. But this is content and language integrated learning, CLIL, and this is conversational. I know it's a monologue. That means one person, monologue. One person is talking, but it's also conversational. It's casual. You'll learn my accent, and I hope you have a great day. So here we are at 30 minutes, and I'm going to upload this video and share it with you all Friday night, which is your Saturday morning. So God bless you, and have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Thank you for your time.